I'm leaving you for my ex. It's finalized.
How could you do this?
The clink of crystal glasses and the low hum of wealthy diners filled Laburnum, the same upscale Manhattan restaurant where I had proposed to Sarah 23 years ago. Back then, she had cried with joy at our candlelit table. Tonight, a different flame flickered in her, eyes cold, sharp, and final. Sarah didn't even blink when she spoke. I'm leaving you, James. I'm getting back together with Robert, my ex from college. And yes, I'll be taking half of everything. The words sliced through me, but my face didn't flinch. The initial shock turned into a burning numbness as I set down my fork. The sea bass, my favorite dish, suddenly tasted like ash. How long? I asked, my voice steady. She shrugged, swirling her wine as if she were recounting a boring errand. 6 months. We reconnected at the reunion. Honestly, we've had problems for years. A waiter approached with her favorite dessert, a chocolate lava cake. I waved him away without a word. Jack, please, I said calmly. Sarah looked at me, a flicker of disappointment in her eyes. You're not going to make a scene. No yelling. No begging. I met her gaze. Would it make you stay? No, she admitted. Then why bother? I placed my credit card on the table, not even glancing at the total. She seemed unsettled by my composure. She had expected chaos, a dramatic breakdown. Instead, I gave her something far more terrifying. Absolute calm. When are you leaving? I asked. Tomorrow morning. Robert's picking me up. I've already packed. I nodded slowly and stood up from the table. Then you should take your things tonight. Her eyes widened in surprise. Tonight, yes. I'll help you load the car. Let's go home. The drive back to our Westchester home was heavy with silence. She kept stealing glances at me from the passenger seat, waiting for me to crack, to show any sign of weakness. But my hands remained steady on the wheel, my eyes fixed on the road ahead. Inside the house we had shared for over 2 decades, the house where we raised our 2 children. I pulled out her designer suitcases from the closet. You can take your clothing, jewelry, and personal belongings. Everything else stays right here until the lawyers sort things out. What lawyers? She snapped, her voice sharp. James, I'm entitled to half. I looked at her, my expression unreadable. You're entitled to exactly what our prenup states. Her jaw dropped. Prenup? We didn't sign a prenup. Yes, we did. June 15, 2001. Your father insisted on it, remember, to protect your inheritance. The color drained from her face as the memory surfaced. That was for my protection, not yours. It works both ways, Sarah. Page 4. Paragraph 3. Assets acquired individually remain individual property. I zipped the first suitcase shut with a decisive sound. And as luck would have it, most of the major assets are in my name. She sank onto the edge of our bed, her body trembling. You can't do this. I'm not doing anything, I said quietly, my voice firm but not unkind. You're the one who signed it. Her carefully constructed facade finally cracked. I thought you'd be devastated, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Robert said you'd crumble, that you'd beg me not to leave. Then Robert doesn't know me very well. Does he? I began packing her jewelry, the diamonds, the sapphires, the Tiffany pieces I had bought her over the years into soft velvet pouches and set them gently in her case. How is old Robert, by the way? I asked, my tone light and conversational. Still running that tiny investment firm. What do they manage? About 100 million? That's cute. Don't you dare mock him, she spat, her anger flaring. Why not? You're comparing him to what I earned just last year, a solid 8 figures. But I'm sure true love pays its own rewards. Sarah's anger quickly dissolved into fear. I'm moving in with Robert, she said, trying to sound firm. And when I get half of everything, you won't? I interrupted. She just blinked. What, Sarah? I didn't become New York's top financial strategist by accident. I handed her a thick leather portfolio filled with documents. Her fingers trembled as she flipped through them. Trust structures, property deeds, corporate holdings. Most of our wealth, I explained patiently, is held in irrevocable trusts and LLCs owned by the Rhodes family trust, which was established before our marriage. You even witnessed some of the documents yourself over the years. But I'm your wife. Yes. And as my wife, you lived a very comfortable life. But as Robert's girlfriend, your financial situation is about to change dramatically. She threw the folder to the floor, the papers scattering across the expensive rug. You planned this, she screamed, her voice raw with fury and desperation. You planned for me to leave. No, I corrected her. I planned for security. I never planned for betrayal. A little while later, her sister Lauren, a divorce attorney, arrived with a colleague, and Sarah's confidence seemed to roar back to life. She stood there, waving legal arguments in the air like weapons, ready for a fight. And then, her sister's colleague recognized me. His face went pale. Sarah, I'm so sorry, but I can't represent you, he said, avoiding my gaze. Your husband is my client. Her world shattered in that single sentence. By the time I finished loading her last suitcase into Lauren's car, Sarah was crying silently, the fight completely gone from her. You'll regret this, she whispered as she got into the car. I didn't respond. I just watched them drive away. The next morning, I woke to an unfamiliar silence. The house felt lighter, almost relieved. By 7 a.m., my phone showed 14 missed calls from Sarah and a string of messages accusing me of manipulati, emotional cruelty, and greed. I ignored them all. My first call was to our children, Michael and Emma. They deserved to hear the truth from me before their mother could twist the narrative. Michael, always pragmatic, was calm. Emma, not so much. How could you just let Mom walk away with nothing? She cried into the phone. She didn't walk away with nothing, sweetie, I said gently. She walked away from our marriage. By noon, Sarah had escalated her campaign. A tearful selfie appeared on her Instagram with the caption, "After 23 years of supporting him, my husband abandoned me with nothing." The comments poured in waves of sympathy, outrage, and judgment from people who knew nothing about our lives. I refused to dignify it with a response. But by evening, the attack shifted. 3 of my firm's biggest clients called, asking about the instability in my personal life. Sarah was no longer attacking my heart. She was attacking my livelihood. That's when I knew I had to act. I picked up the phone and called my lawyer. It was time to file a cease and desist for interference with business relations. The game had changed, and I was ready to play. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories.